So 4 years ago, I was actually very idealistic, and I worked with Tom Chelik and Eric Meyer on what was the first ever microformat. It was called XFN, XHTML Friends Network. And the idea was that at the time, we thought there were a bajillion social networks, meaning Friendster and like one other. And we thought, well, wouldn't it be great if you could represent your relationships in these networks in an independent way and be able to take that with you to your new network. So like a social network portability. So that way, the data, the investment you put into these sites is yours. It doesn't just belong to them and lock you in. That idea is actually starting to come to fruition now, many years later. And there's sites like Pounce and Flickr are supporting XFN. And there's now tools, it's early stages, but there's tools being built that will help you suck in all your information using microformats. Things like HCard and XFN, I think, are the building blocks, and allow you to do interesting things with that. And whether that means you can, a new entrant to the field, like the next best social network, will grow that much faster because we can just import all the data instead of waiting for their friends to come, or whether that means that maybe it's not social networks at all. Maybe it's something intensely personal. I am actually still a big believer in the desktop.
Okay.
And I think that the ultimate place where, let me put it this way. Right now, a lot of people on the web are essentially sharecroppers. They're relying on someone else's goodwill and benevolence for their online existence to continue, including people hosted on WordPress.com, to be fair. The control, if I move the control of, or my data to something like, let's say Plaxo, allows me to sync all my contacts from Yahoo and Outlook and all these other things, it's still on Plaxo. I don't really control that at the end of the day. You asked the question about Google going away. It's actually far more likely that Plaxo will go away tomorrow, and I'm just SOL. If it's on my desktop, that's pretty powerful, and if I own the data, and most importantly, if whatever's running that is open source. Because fundamentally, Web 2.0 to me is just catching up with what open source did like 20 years ago.
Okay.
And so open source is still fundamental for any of us to ever have real control over our destiny.